Here we are in chapter 47. Joseph told the Pharaoh that the 66 and their flocks had arrived, and the Pharaoh said, "Well, shit, give them the best land. Maybe they can look after my flocks and herds as well." Joseph took Jacob to see the Pharaoh. "How old are you?" "My travels here on earth are to date 130 years. Nothing compared to my ancestors." "That's nice." So Jacob went to the region of Rameses and ate much bread. Now watch closely here as we explain the process of ownership in worldwide slavery. "We have no money, and yet we are hungry. Give me your livestock." This is the people talking to Joseph and his crew. "And the next year they came to Joseph and he said, 'Give me your land.'" Verse 20, so Joseph gained possession of all the farmland of Egypt for Pharaoh. Verse 22, only the land of the priests he did not take over. So Joseph told the people, "You can now seed the land and pay 20% tax to the Pharaoh," which in today's reckoning was actually pretty fair. Verse 26, and Joseph made it into a land law in Egypt, which is still valid, that a fifth should be Pharaoh's. Only the land of the priests did not become Pharaoh's. Thus Israel settled in the country of Egypt in the region of Goshen. They acquired holdings in it and were fertile and increased greatly. End quote. 17 years later, Jacob was about 147. It was time for Israel to die. So they did the hand under leg ritual, and Joseph swore to bury Israel with his fathers, which is always nice to have a swear or two. Oath is what swearing means here, which we of course are told over and over in the New Testament not to do. In case anybody wondered, when they put their hand on the Bible and pretended that they knew what they were talking about when they swear in court. Oh man, pathetic. I would like to point out that it is interesting to see the shenanigans of Joseph. The land was hungry, the land was dry, and the people were hungry. In this process, the dictatorship managed to accumulate all the livestock and all the land, except of course for the Jewish race or the Israeli family, who are special. They're always special until we get to the New Testament and then become a little less special, but they still wrote the New Testament, and they wrote the Quran as well, though a lot of people would disagree with that. Go ahead, disagree. I don't care anymore. And Jacob was not 130 years old. When it says something like this, it is simply exaggeration. And I have to remind you again that these stories were stories for generations before they ever get written. And all stories get mutilated generation after generation. They also get mutilated when they get written. And they get mutilated when they get transcribed. And they probably weren't very true to start with.